This is the TECNO Camon 19 Pro, and check this out, it can literally change the sky. Now, how many smartphones do you know that can do that with a stock camera app? None. The TECNO Camon 19 Pro has a 6.8-inch Full HD display with a refresh rate of 120Hz. It has 8GB of RAM that can be expanded to 13GB of RAM through memory fusion. It has a 64MP main camera, a 50MP telephoto camera. Powering this smartphone is a 5000 mAh battery, and the processor it comes with is the mediatek helio.
Vala, what did you say?
I said the mediatek helio.
Oga, speak louder now, we can't hear you. What's wrong with you?
Leave me alone. The TECNO Camon 19 Pro has some really cool tricks up its sleeves, but is that enough reason to buy this smartphone? Well, let's find out. Now, this smartphone comes in two colors, Polar Blue and Echo Black. It comes with a TPU case, a 33W fast charger that charges this smartphone from 0 to 100% in 1 hour 30 minutes. You also get an earpiece, a USB Type-C cable, and a SIM ejector tool. Now, moving to the build quality, the rear is made from plastic. It attracts zero fingerprints and smudges. The plastic frame, on the other hand, has a tin for fingerprints. Moving to the front, it doesn't have Corning Gorilla Glass protection, and also, this smartphone doesn't have an IP rating. Guys, I submerged this smartphone in water for 1 minute, and if you want to know what happened, you can watch that video on TikTok and Instagram. Here are my handles. Moving to the external features, it has two microphones, one at the top and another one at the bottom. This smartphone has thin bezels that even the ear slit is on top of the smartphone. Wow. It has a dual 4G SIM and memory card slot. At the bottom, it has a 3.5mm audio jack, the microphone, a USB Type-C port, and a mono speaker. For the sound quality, it's loud, it sounds good, but the bass is lacking. On the right side is where the volume and power buttons are located. The power button doubles as the fingerprint scanner, and the unlock speed is instant, but the animation kinda slows it down a bit. Now, moving to the rear, it has a 64MP super night main camera with optical image stabilization, a 50MP telephoto camera, a 2MP depth camera with LED flashlight by the side, and laser autofocus sensors that are hidden just above the two cameras over there. Moving to the front, it has a 32MP selfie camera with no LED flashlight, and that's because there's simply no space to fix one there on the ultra thin bezels. At 0.98mm, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro has one of the tiniest bezels out there. I mean, you can see how thin it is at the top and the sides. Don't look at the bezels at the bottom, they're thick. Now, moving to the display, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro has a 6.8-inch IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 1080 by 2460 pixels. The fact that the Camon 18 Premier came with an AMOLED display and the Camon 19 Pro comes with an IPS LCD panel, what is going on now? Why? But before you write off the display of the Camon 19 Pro, it has one of the best IPS LCD panel I have ever seen and used. It's very vibrant and contrasty, and to God, I had to triple check because it does look like an AMOLED panel. The refresh rate of this display is 120Hz, and that makes scrolling and switching between apps very fluid. I also like the size of the display. I love how thin and compact this smartphone is, and using this smartphone to consume media is actually good. For brightness, I got a reading of 413 nits, which means under direct sunlight, viewing content on this display will be challenging. You would have to use your other hand to block off the sun. Now, the processor inside the Camon 19 Pro is the mediatek Helio G96 processor. It's the same processor that came with last year's Camon 18 Premier, so yeah, it's not exciting news. The TECNO Camon 19 Pro 5G, on the other hand, comes with a MediaTek Dimensity 810 chipset, and my review and comparison video is live on my YouTube channel. You can check out those videos after watching this one. Now, back to the Camon 19 Pro, the MediaTek Helio G96 processor is a decent mid-range chipset. It's a 12nm processor, and launching applications is fast, multitasking is fast, and you're not going to experience any slowdown with this smartphone. Also, it comes with 8GB of RAM that can be expanded to 13GB of RAM through memory fusion, and that helps in making the smartphone even faster. For the Antutu benchmark results, it got a score of 354K, which is about the same score as last year's Camon 18 Premier. And for gaming, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro comes with the Mali G52 GPU. It's the same GPU with last year's Camon 18 Premier. And when I played PUBG, it ran the game at HD graphics and high frame rate. You can also run the game at smooth graphics and ultra frame rate. The gameplay was good with no lags, and surprisingly, I thought my hand would block the mono speaker while playing, but that didn't happen. For Call of Duty, it played the game at medium graphics and high frame rate. The gameplay was smooth, and also the phone didn't get hot. And for Genshin Impact, it ran the game at low graphics settings. The gameplay was also smooth and totally playable on this smartphone. As a gaming smartphone, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro did average. It lacks dual stereo speakers, which gamers would appreciate, and although it ran the game well, the graphics settings and the frame rate were average. For the Android operating system, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro is running Android 12 with iOS version 8.6. For ads, I did get notifications from applications like the Phoenix browser and more, but luckily you can always disable those notifications or uninstall those applications. Now moving to the cameras, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro has a 32 megapixel front-facing camera, and in poorly lit conditions it tends to smoothen the face. When there's enough light though, it does a better job in capturing the image. Image captured outdoors look very good. The HDR works and that helps in capturing bright objects like the sky. Portrait shots looks good on this camera. So right now I'm using the 32 megapixel front-facing camera of the TECNO Camon 19 Pro. It can shoot in 2K 30 frames per second. And what do you guys think about the video and the audio quality coming out from the front-facing camera of the smartphone? Comparing it to the Camon 19 Pro 5G that has a 16 megapixel camera, I think it looks better, but let's wait for my comparison video so that we can compare both of them. Also, this smartphone has the video bokeh mode where it blurs out the background and just leaves my face in focus. What do you think about this feature? Is this something you're going to use? And in this mode, it actually shoots in 720p 30 frames per second. So let me know what you guys think about the video and audio quality using the video bokeh mode. Hello, Brownie. Now moving to the rear cameras, it has a 64 megapixel main camera, a 50 megapixel telephoto camera, and a 2 megapixel depth camera. The 64 megapixel main camera takes good looking pictures, the colors look vibrant and nice, but the star of the show for me is the 50 megapixel telephoto camera. It takes amazing portraits. Subject separation is on point and the colors look great. I love this lens, guys. Now, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro has a feature called Sky Shop and it works only for the rear camera, and what it does is it changes the way the sky looks. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing this on the default camera app of a smartphone, and guys, it's so easy to use. Point to the sky, pick the style you want, and voila! When zoomed in, it does a good job in changing the sky and not affecting the buildings, as you can see. It can even make day look like night. It's an awesome feature. Now, speaking of night mode is alright on this smartphone. In some cases, it gets really good results, and in others, well, it doesn't do that well. But overall, I think it's alright. Alright guys, so here's a video from the rear camera of the TECNO Camon 19 Pro. It can shoot in 2K 30 frames per second. I'm using the 64 megapixel main camera. And what do you guys think about the video and audio quality coming out from the main camera of the TECNO Camon 19 Pro? Alright, so right now I'm using the 50 megapixel telephoto lens on the TECNO Camon 19 Premier to record this video. It can shoot in 1080p, 30 frames per second, no 2K using this camera, or that lens rather. So what do you guys think about the video and audio quality using the 50 megapixel telephoto camera on the TECNO Camon 19 Pro? Now for the battery, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro comes with a 5000 mAh battery and the battery life is good. As for the charging time though, it took it 1 hour 13 minutes to charge up this smartphone from 0 to 100%, and that's alright. Now guys, for the price, the TECNO Camon 19 Pro goes for 165,000 naira or $275 for the 8GB RAM, 128GB internal storage option. And for the pros, well, the build quality is good even though it doesn't have Corning Gorilla Glass protection. The display is vibrant and contrasty, but it is an IPS LCD panel. Why TECNO? Why? The battery life is good on this smartphone. It comes with 8GB of RAM that can be expanded to 13GB of RAM, a 64 megapixel main camera that takes good pictures, and a 50 megapixel telephoto camera that takes great pictures. And for the cons, well, the processor has to be one of them. It's a side grade and not an upgrade because last year's model came with the same processor. I wish it came with an AMOLED display as well. And the 32 megapixel front-facing camera is alright, but it didn't impress me. So guys, that's my review of the TECNO Camon 19 Pro. You can watch my review of the TECNO Camon 19 Pro 5G over here. And if you want to see me compare the two smartphones, you can watch that video over here.